Hey everyone, let's talk about credit cards, or more specifically, the fees we're charged for spending more than we earn. This is a topic I've been putting off for a while, but if you're retired, planning for retirement, or just having trouble managing your credit card spending, well, it's time to talk. Hi, I'm Wes, and welcome to WeWa on the Net. Today I'm going to give you my thoughts on credit card spending and the cost of spending more than you have or make. I'm not here to bash credit card companies. In fact, when managed properly, credit cards are really useful. But there's a trap many of us fall into. Credit card companies make it too easy to overspend. And when we can't pay the bill at the end of the month, well, that's where the fees begin on the unpaid balances. Banks and credit card companies, they call it interest, but I think of it more as a fine, a financial penalty for spending money you don't have or haven't earned yet. So when you swap your credit card for something and you don't have the money to pay for it, you're really just borrowing against future income. So when you do this, the friendly credit card company says, hey, you spent more than you have, so you're going to have to pay a little extra for this privilege. This privilege is the interest you pay on the unpaid balance, which is the cost of overspending, or as I think of it, an overspending fine. These overspending fines, they can really add up. The more you overspend and the longer you take to pay the balance off, the more overspending fines you accumulate. It can trap you in a cycle where a large chunk of your payments go towards these penalties instead of reducing what you owe. CMB says the average credit card rate is 20.12% APR. TransUnion Credit, they report that the credit card balance currently is about $6,580. So if I do a little math, the average overspending fine is about $1,323 a year, or about $110 a month. If you don't know your credit card rate or outstanding balance, take the time in the next few days to get your credit card statement out and find your percentage rate and your unpaid balance and do the math. I think it'll surprise you just how much you're paying in overspending fines. Credit card expenses, they're turning out to be a tremendous financial stressor, especially for us retirees on a fixed income. Thinking of interest as a fine, it should be a wake-up call. It shifts the focus from just another fee or number on your credit card statement to a direct result of our spending habits. Calling it an overspending fine may sound harsh, but it highlights the consequence of not managing our credit cards responsibly. This fine is not some abstract percentage. It's real money coming out of our pockets. So how do you avoid these overspending fines? Well, you spend less than you earn. You need to create a budget and do your best to stick to it. Always be mindful of your spending habits. Don't buy more than you can pay off at the end of the month. But what do you do if you're behind and already paying overspending fines? This gets a little harder. You must commit to stop spending more than you make. You have to create a budget and you must stick to it. You need to focus on aggressively paying off your credit cards. You may need to consider strategies like balance transfers to lower the interest rates, but only if you're committed to stop spending more than you make. If you're not committed, you're just kicking the can down the road. You may need to find a qualified, preferably nonprofit credit counselor to help you they can help you get your finances in order. So let's change how we think about credit cards and credit card interest. It's not just the cost of borrowing. It's a fine for spending more than we've earned. You know, by understanding this connection, I think we can become more aware of our spending habits and take the steps to avoid these unnecessary financial penalties. So why do I think this is such an important topic for retirees and those planning retirement? Well, when I was planning for retirement, the biggest variable on our expenses, it was a credit card expense. You know, like many people our age, we don't carry much cash. So nearly everything we buy, it goes on the credit card. We don't use debit cards, which is really a topic for another day. So our credit card bill is typically our largest monthly expense. I knew once we retired and on a fixed income, managing our credit card use would be very important. There certainly wouldn't be any room in our budget for overspending fines. So our plan is to fully pay off our credit card bills each month. We'll do our best not to spend more than we budgeted, but if something does come up, we have an emergency fund for these expenses. If our plan fails, I look at our paid up credit cards as a short-term safety net while we adjust. So if you're retired or getting ready to retire and finding credit card expenses to be a problem, I hope this video has helped. Now's not the time for wasteful spending. Overspending fines are wasteful and they must be avoided. You know, it's not too late to change any bad spending habits you have, but the time to start, it's now. Quit spending more than you earn and aggressively work to have no debt in retirement. This way you can fully enjoy your golden years and have the retirement you've always hoped for. So what are your thoughts on this perspective? Does it change how you view your credit cards and your credit card interest or fines? Let me know. Wes out.